Minasan konnichiwa, Dominic this. Hello everyone, it is Dominic here. Today I'm going to be talking about culture shock, but in particular reverse culture shock, because today in class our teacher was asking us if any of us had experienced like a culture shock when going to Japan. And then I was thinking about it, and honestly I kind of experienced more of a reverse culture shock when coming back to England. So I thought I'd make a video like telling you guys about all of the things that I experienced and the sort of things that you can look forward to when you come back from your exchange. So firstly was English. This was definitely the biggest thing for me. Like, I was speaking Japanese pretty much every single day of my life for a whole year. It was the only language I was communicating in. I very rarely spoke English. Like, most of the time I would just force myself to just struggle. But yeah, Japanese was the only language I used, so I came home and then I was surrounded by so much English, and it was really overwhelming because it's like I hadn't really been exposed to that much English for a whole year. So my brain was like in overload. And also, since Japanese obviously isn't my native language and I can't express myself as clearly as in Japanese as I can in English, but like I got used to not being able to communicate properly in Japanese, and so when I was speaking English it was like, wait a second, I can communicate without struggling. Oh my god. And that was like such a surprise for me because I'd forgotten that I could actually speak a language that I didn't struggle speaking. So that was like mind blown. But other than that, just hearing English everywhere was really, really weird. And listening to English TV and music and just understanding everything was just really strange. Now the next big shock for me was not seeing any Japanese people anywhere. I remember distinctly landing at Heathrow Airport and being like, there are so many gaijin. Genuinely, this took me a very long time, I'm talking like months here, to actually fully get over, because obviously like in Japan, when you're foreign, you stand out and you're like the only non-Japanese person there. But I kind of got used to that, and it's like I got used to only seeing Japanese people and only being around Japanese people. So as soon as I came back to England and I was exposed to loads of people from different countries and just exposed to different races and everything, it was like, damn! Now the next reverse culture shock was bowing. This was kind of embarrassing because this is where other people would like realize like, Dom, what happened to you? As I'm sure a lot of you know, in Japan, bowing is quite a big part of like the culture, and eventually when you're there for a long time, bowing kind of becomes second nature, and you kind of end up doing it a lot of the time without actually thinking. So you know, in Japan you'll bow when you're meeting people, you'll bow when you're like, I don't know, at a shop, you'll bow to like the people in the shop, that sort of thing. Like you bow to everyone, you even bow to cars. So like when I came back to England, like I would do the weirdest things. Like I would cross the road and I would bow at the cars as a way of saying thank you. I would be in the shops, and when they give me my change I'd like lower my head and bow at them. And I wasn't even noticing I was doing this until my friends were just like, what are you doing? And then that was the first time I was like, wait, why exactly am I bowing? We don't even bow in England. And that was kind of when I realized, oh, I'm not actually in Japan anymore. Huh. So yeah, bowing was another thing that I like did, and I kind of had to get out of the habit of bowing because like I did it very subconsciously. It's kind of the same how I would use certain Japanese words instead of English words when talking to people. So like if someone was giving me something, like the first word that would come to my head would be like arigato instead of like thank you. Or like when I was being called for dinner by my like parents or something, I would like scream down the stairs in Japanese. I'd be like, hi, and then I'd be like, wait, why'd I do that? So I kind of had to like retrain myself to what is normal in England. Now next thing obviously like depends on the country you're coming from, but for me, I came back to England and I was like, this place is filthy. Like, actually disgusting. Now in Japan, I don't really want to like overgeneralize, but everything was really, really clean. There was no rubbish on the streets. Also you had no bins, but like, you get used to that. Like no rubbish on the street, everything was really, really clean and pristine. Like even in busy areas in Tokyo, like occasionally you would see like places that were dirty, and the irony is these were like the main like touristy areas. But other than that, like everything was really clean, no dirt anywhere. Shops especially, inside them, it was just perfect, and you get so used to this. And I came back to England and it was like within my first week and I went to Starbucks and then there was just dirt everywhere. And I actually, you know, I complained to Starbucks as you do, and they gave me 2 free vouchers, so. But the fact that everything was a lot dirtier in England than Japan was another thing that I noticed. Now one of the final culture shocks for me was phantom earthquakes. Now when I was in Japan, like I experienced my fair share of earthquakes. Obviously like not massive earthquakes, the Japanese scale goes up to 7. Like the earthquakes I all experienced were between like 2 and 4. I think the biggest one I experienced was a 5. And I was like petrified when that happened. I thought I was gonna like die, but you know, like I survived, I'm still here. But anyway, I came back to England, and then anytime I felt something shake, I would automatically assume it was an earthquake. And that happens like even now. Whenever I feel anything move, the first thing that comes to my head is like earthquake. Because in Japan, I was experiencing roughly 2 earthquakes a month. Like, it was a lot. In my final month in Japan, in my last week in Japan, I experienced 4 earthquakes in 1 week. And this is probably quite unusual. I was in like the Tokyo area, and there seemed to be like a lot more earthquakes going on there at the moment, around like Ibaraki-ken and stuff, like that sort of area. So I did experience quite a lot when I was there, but because of that, like I came back, and every single time I feel something shake, every time something moves, like my brain automatically just like, oh my god, this is an earthquake. And then I'm like, wait, we don't have earthquakes in England. So that was something that definitely took time getting used to, but yes. So that is everything I've experienced with a reverse culture shock. But basically it was just getting so used to life in Japan that when I came back to England, it was strange trying to readjust to certain things. You often think that you're going to go to a country and experience a culture shock, but more often than not, you'll experience just as much of a culture shock when you're coming back home. So anyway, that is all from today. If any of you have ever experienced culture shocks, then do let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new, then please subscribe. It encourages me to make more videos. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye!